Nothing's ever enough, even if I try and try too hard. Tell me what to do, say anything, yeah. Dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, if we just try. So come on, baby, dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, baby, try, try, try. You find it distracting, hold of our issues, rather die with you. We no longer talk when it gets hard, so it only gets harder. I know you were gonna get the best of me. Come a little closer, we can dive in deep. Oh, I'd rather be with you, baby, even if I try and try too hard.
And welcome back to Leuven here for a lead invite. We are into the brackets. It's quarterfinal time. The excitement only mounts and becomes more exciting from here all the way through to the grand finals. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Benjamin Reese to bring you the action here between YAKA and East Block as we get things going. Benji, tell us a bit about expectations coming into this one.
Well, both of these sides, I think, really do see themselves at the thick end of the tournament, and one of them is not even going to make the semi-finals. East Block, of course, we see them go down heavy to Moon Cup in the last game of the day yesterday, and if they can get past the semi-final against YAKA, or the quarterfinal against YAKA, then you've got Jinx and Shout on the other side of the bracket. It might just work out for them.
Well, East Block go first, adorned in their new jerseys, fresh out of the box, Benj.
And I mean literally fresh out of the box. I watched them open them.
And they've got their hands full. We'll talk about their path to get here because it's been an interesting one as this point gets to a scoring end. Hadova goes up and over. Slusta thought it was for her, but happy to see she had backup there. Kristina Slusta. Haveltsova. Hadova, there was a space there, but not taken, but turned the other way. There is enough room. The toes are tapped in, and East Block on the board. Doleyalova with the goal.
Dolezhalova, I was with you that I think that she could have got it on the initial cut towards this side, but faked an almost indoor style where you fake towards one corner, you plant, you go, and the throw leads you towards the other side. There, I thought she could have pulled the trigger, but maybe Hadova's thinking with Tisson closing on the mark, could she flash across and get the block? Maybe. So I'll find a different way, and Dolezhalova is still going to be my target and blades it to the back of the end zone to give the Czechs a 1-0 lead.
So East Block came out of the gates for this tournament and had a big surprise. Benji knocking off Shout. Tell us about the rest of their path, because I think the expectation after that was that they had almost locked up the pool.
That was the expectation, and it didn't quite play out like that in the end, because yes, 15-13 win over Shout in the morning, a massive result. Then back that up with a 15-10 victory over the hosts, Jet Set Love. Went down 15-8 to Moon Cup, which meant they came out third on a three-way tie. Brutal, but it might have actually worked in their favor.
Well, let's see. They got themselves a hot date with YAKA because of it, who have been firing hot throughout this tournament too. Zenz engages her Austrian teammate here on the Noisy team. Meisel goes up line and takes. Rasta. Aline Mondio gets it and finds Castillo in the corner. Castillo turns quick to Paula Bas, and YAKA respond. One apiece on the board bench.
Nice clean offense there from YAKA, and it's not necessarily their trademark. I think YAKA, they find ways to get it done, but they're not always 100% accurate. They take shots because they back themselves to get it back. They play with a little bit of fire and energy. They've got playmakers, and there are times when you say, okay, you take some turnovers because of the vision and the offensive prowess that they bring you, but this was just textbook. We'll work it down calmly, we'll utilize the width, we'll dump and swing to score. The YAKA Brain Trust must be pretty pleased with that one, I'd wager. Paula Bast, so often we see them throwing the scores. This time they're on the receiving end, but the outcome is still the same, and it's YAKA's first goal of the game. Both sides trading clean holds. If that's a blueprint for the rest of the game, we're in for an absolute classic. If I can get my teeth out. Or put them in, whatever the phrase is.
Keep them in, put them out. You've got it all right. Here they get Kjær with the pull. One of the Danish strongholds of this YAKA team. East block coming out. Haveltsova finds space in the middle. Hodacheva winds up and gives. That doesn't have enough on it. You could see on the release that the body was stressed a little bit. It wasn't a fluid release on that backhand, and the disc falls short.
Game's first turnover is going to go YAKA's way. And they're going to task Jean Delaval with picking it up.
Delaval goes across the field. Mabe Condiasson gets it again, of course, with Swan Lacoste. The two of them know how to win championships. They did that together last year for the French juniors. Mathias goes up line, spots Delaval. Jean, the chiseled veteran, goes wide, and love the Bruce Springsteen slide there from Mathias. Becker.
You can tell you're of a certain age with that reference, can't you, Steph?
Yes. I guess you can. All the kids at home can start Googling the boss. Mathias. We're well covered up to prevent. And wow, what a grab by Mabe Condiasson to keep that one alive off the bobble and then force that throw.
Hodacheva knew that that was exactly what she was looking for. It was in position, but Mabe Condiasson pulled the trigger anyway, and Hodacheva got rewarded.
Hodacheva goes into the dump space. Oh, and the bid not able to get the rewards. Deep in front, not deep, but too far in front is what I meant to say there. And YAKA will get another break chance here.
They're looking for, what else am I working? Oh yeah, Aneshka Kotrobova, I think, in the deep shot. And it was on, and Shvetsova is a player I've been so impressed with this weekend. And a couple of weeks ago in Vienna spring break as well. Another player who's got a lot of youth international experience at juniors level, so I'm sure some of these players will be familiar with their opponents' games, but just put that one too far out in front, and YAKA got another opportunity for a break. It will require them to work the full 70, but they are beginning to get a little bit of space to work with, not backed up against their own end zone anymore.
Delaunay, far sideline, comes back to Mathias. Mabe Condiasson. This time. A little bit stagnant right now, YAKA, coming out of their standard vert. Lacoste. Still, there's a pick there. I saw Mabe Condiasson make her move, and she cut right through the stack, and the pick was very evident.
Yeah, Lacoste is 19, and she's already basically been playing half of her life.
Yeah, she's an axe of a player. Really gets the job done. Does it with a smile on her face almost all the time, too, which makes it even more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, she's a player who's easy to root for, I think.
Nice switches by the East Block handler defenders. And Becker goes a few ways before De Laval has to spot Lacoste. Now Becker.
It was a really good dump defense there, because mirroring the hips step for step, Becker just couldn't find a way free.
Mathias. Goes to De Laval. Mabe Condiasson to De Laval. Now Becker, and puts it to Delaunay. The defense gets there. Are they discussing a potential for a strip, Benji?
Surely that must be the call. I can't see if it would be anything else. I also didn't get the good shot of it because it's right away in that corner to our far side, so it's tricky to have a look. I'm not sure whether she ever had control.
Nor I. I thought that was fair defensive play.
But obviously, you know, we're not quite seeing how it feels from the top angle. It does look a little bit more like a strip. Obviously, what we think is not important. It's about the players on the field coming to a resolution they're happy with. But so much of that possession was handler-driven for YAKA, just grinding it down the field, and they were not finding players in free positions downfield too often. And you mentioned that there was a little bit of stagnation, and that's because they don't tend to necessarily play tight one-on-one defense, East Block. They like to surround and switch and poach downfield. They'll sit in spaces and wait for players to come off. They're very communicative, and they'll pass it off. They'll bracket, and the whole idea is that they want to be efficient with their movement. They want to do less and have their opponent do more. And it is going to be an uncontested foul in the end, and they do punch it in, although if it was a strip and not a foul, it should have been a score anyway. Either way, it's 2-1 YAKA. That's the game's first break.
Big break, a call that could have gone either way, went favorably well for YAKA, and they're able to convert. And as you said, Benj, a break on the board, first lead of the game, or first proper lead of the game for YAKA. Proper, not on serve, we'll say.
There's still so much time left in this game that certainly you're not pulling that ripcord and bailing yet if you're East Block. But the fact that YAKA did grind it down the field, it was not easy for them. The East Block proactivity away from the disc was causing them issues, but they were continually happy to take the resets, to work it, do the hard yards until eventually they could find ways to play through the cutters rather than the players in the backfield. And it, you know, maybe you say as East Block, actually defensively it wasn't bad because we forced them into problems, and if we force them to continually make high pass count possessions, we'll get the turnovers more often than not. That time, however, YAKA were just too good.
Pull from Mondiaux. And East Block off and running. Hadova. Match defense here, as though, wonder if YAKA would have done some studying, Benji, on how Moon Cup handled them. They would have been wise to.
Trust me, I know that YAKA would have done some watching of the games yesterday, and I also know that East Block 100% did the same.
Svekova. Ooh, just barely closes the hands on that, then sends deep. It's sluiced underneath. but it's Jokolea who gets the hand there and closes the door.
I think actually, while usually you want to get multiple players going deep, I think Hadova actually caused a little bit of traffic there, and maybe Jokolea would have got the block anyway, but were there just too many bodies that made it hard? First pass turnover for YAKA.
East block now with a chance again. Would be hold Haveltsova. Distributes Svetkova. Dumps back. Ooh, and there's some contact. Svetkova runs into Rasta and she hits the turf.
It's never nice to see a player down. And Mondio is, I think, one of the best loved figures in the game at the moment. So that's certainly concerning. Gonna have to take an injury stoppage as well.
We'll take a short break and be right back after this. Back in play, East Block sniffing at that goal line. They're gonna need these holds, being down a break early. Svetkova throws high. Hadova nearing that goal line still, takes the super dump at Svetkova with the focus error there, sees it right through her hands.
Just looking at the next pass, and you've got to make sure that you get that one secured first.
Paula Bass goes to Meisel, sporting the wraparound iridium lenses. Castillo to Meisel.
I believe Meisel's based in Leuven, so it's essentially home territory for her.
Indeed, the Austrian is a resident here now. Jokolea and Slusta the other way, and Jokolea gets the best of that contest once again. Jokolea and a hand block. Haveltsova breaks up the party, and playmaking happening from one side to the other. No clear advantage on this very long point.
That's huge, because at the moment Goikolea is winning the battle in the deep space against Solista, but YAKA had no answer to that deep shot.
Svetsova to Hadova. Slusta bangs to the far sideline. Into the corner. Dolijalova, who throws low. But Haveltsova hangs on, trying to sight the break, gets it. Svetkova's there, and a very important hold. They always feel like they're worth more on these marathon points, Benji.
No disrespect to Klara Svetsova, but that is all about the throw from Teresa Haveltsova, because she's constantly looking and threatening, and she wants it. She's determined to pull the trigger on the inside flick. There's Wikolea just boxing out to Lister, gave her no option, and she brought it down with the left hand, but unfortunately for her, not able to make the most of it, and forces on the floor a little bit there. Castillo lost her footing, but you can see she wants it. Yes, yes, and eventually leans over, gets the body weight set, and rips it into that gap, and there's nothing the defense can do. Great throw from Haveltsova. You see there the coach Valerio Yanni looking resplendent. He's got a new jersey as well. His first season coaching East Block. I think it's a good fit, and it's one that I'm looking forward to seeing it develop over the course of this season and maybe beyond.
His first piece of EB swag, Chloé Olivier with a disc. Spots Lacoste across to Thyssen. And in the middle, Delaunay takes the open dump to Thyssen early in the stall count. Swan, Lacoste, jukes and jives and then asks for a replacement. Mathias is found at the sideline and now inside to Thyssen. Thyssen inside break, and La Mercier cannot hold on. It came in hot to that right hand. East Block now with a break chance of their own. Ooh, works hard to keep that one up and then jams it the length of the field. Thyssen blindly running with her arms up to play defense.
Didn't know much about it, but she didn't really need to in the end, just staying close and preventing anyone else from getting it, and that's the main point.
Olivier opens up some space. Quick to Le Mercier. Delaunay. To De Laval. Lacoste. Mathias. De Laval. Quick movement. Mathias in the middle of it. Now slowing down to see if they can generate one clean cut. Olivier is there. She was smiling before it was in hands and only enlarged the smile to clap hands on it.
YAKA getting it done at the second attempt. East Block couldn't really get a lot going offensively after the turn, and you'll have noticed with YAKA that they don't run strict O and D lines like a lot of teams do. It's kind of two halves of a team and they'll just alternate. Yes, they might tighten lines at certain points, but essentially the message is we'll keep everyone rested and refreshed, and it doesn't matter whether you're coming out on offense or defense. We trust that you know how to do the job regardless. Here's that scoring pass again from the drone cam. Mathias just sitting it out into space, and a very assured reception. Was she one of the French contingent of the CFC team?
Multi-TV, like and subscribe.
Right, best in the world. Yeah, well, but she hasn't put it as a career highlight.
That is very strange. She's going to have to update her. That is very strange. She's going to have to update her career highlights, Benji, if that is not on there. Surely.
Got to get in the ear, Steph.
Surely that counts for her. I know she just assumed the commentating team would know as much, that classifies as such a momentous part of her playing career that we would just bring it up without even having to look. So, East Block, Hadova goes inside. Mashkova throws low and mishandled. Hodachova sees it to the ground, and now Boss directing traffic. Boss goes hammer. Castillo's there. Is there enough field? Well, Castillo's going to find out trying. That is for darn sure. Chucks the body knowing that net was coming up to her sniffer.
A for effort, maybe a B for artistic expression. Unfortunately, an F for the end result.
Yeah, throw too much on it.
The turnover came because the disc was at an awkward height for Hodachova, where it's at her knees, and when you're catching it, there's always the chance that you strip yourself and you jar it out. But because it's so short and so close to you, you don't necessarily feel like you have to go to ground for it. But sometimes that's a better option, even though it does slow down the pace of your game. And we know how much East Block love to play with rhythm and tempo as they are now.
And Hadova bombs, but too far in front. Hodachova can't get there. And another turnover on this possession. The second of such for East Block.
Yeah, it's been a little messy for the Czechs, hasn't it, so far in this one?
Meisel chips out of her own end. Wind up backhand, but Boss does not give it. Now has Meisel engaged, gives it. And leading throw, but it will not lead past the defense. Right back to East Block.
maybe the smallest player on the pitch, but it doesn't matter if you get the right read on it.
Hadova with a mounting stall count. Now goes deep and gets a good read, but not a good finish on the hands. Masloviakova can't handle the throw after taking position. Basta Castillo changes directions, chucks herself along, then gives the backhand that she's well known for. Jokolea in the corner, and YAKA break again.
They're proving why they were, you know, arguably one of the favourites and the defending champion from last year's Elite Invite. That point is Maria Castillo all over. She'll throw herself around to get the disc, laying out to make sure, and if you give her a window, she is absolutely no fear, all guns blazing. Loves ripping those backhands, especially if she can get the inside-out shape on it across the field to really slice open the defense.
Yeah, YAKA looking very strong, capitalizing on the East Block errors, but that is the bigger issue here. East Block's errors are coming with a bit too much frequency, and that is exactly what needs tidying up.
Yeah, Irina Kaikalea, just one of those players that I think you sometimes forget when you look at the YAKA roster how good they are, but the Spaniard is huge for them and has been season after season. Coaches back home in Madrid, you know, played with some of the Spanish powerhouses, Coracota, Quijotes and Dulcineas, and a more than valuable part of this YAKA setup.
Velijalova gets things going. Mashkova finds Havelcheva. Up-line throw, and that one sits well. Velijalova with the goal.
Nice clean hold for East Block. You need that to get your confidence back up. Sitting that one out into space, and it's rewarding a good cut with a great throw. Velijalova will do damage in the deep space. We have seen that. And Haveltseva is such an adept thrower, especially at throwing with that little bit of finesse, slight backspin on it maybe, so it just sits and hangs, and is just a receiver's dream.
So looks like we do have a timeout here on the field. We're going to take ourselves a short break now too, and we'll be back with more action after these messages. Come on, Brad! Big shout out to our wonderful friends at Force as you get a great look at the facility and surrounds here in Leuven. Benji, have you been enjoying your time here?
Love it. It's a beautiful city, some wonderful architecture, brilliant people, a wonderful field side as well. So we go into the first quarterfinals, the women's quarterfinals. Elsewhere on the field behind us, Iceni have a 3-2 lead on Moon Cup. The winner of that game plays the winner of this game. On the other side of the bracket, Shout lead box 6-4, and Jet Set and Jinx are tied at 4s.
It's all happening. Jet Set and Jinx tied at 4, so that's a surprising early score update to hear as that one goes across to Meisel.
Definitely worth doing some quad box action if your computer can handle it.
Get all these games up, check them all out. Bobby Can takes one hard and handles it well, and another one handled with a bit of bobbling action, but Zenz does a very good job to secure the disc. We've got a discussion on the disc.
Zen's a wealth of experience, been to WAKA twice with different clubs each time, with Mantis back in her native Vienna and with YAKA.
That throw, too much on it, and the defense good enough to see it go bounce towards East Block.
And as is East Block's one, let's pick it up quickly and let's go. Why are we hanging around?
Hadava. Can they get a break back here? Finds the inside seam.
Brilliant break.
Now the throw for goal. Big shot there. East Block back on the break board. First time on the break board. And they open up that column.
Yeah, bring us back level, although it is still a break in YAKA's favour, having grabbed 2 already. Wonderful inside shot to open things up, really getting out big and wide with the pivot, squaring up towards the centre of the field, and then allowed to get that break side flow, rocking and rolling, and YAKA could not stop it at that point. I think East Block calling that timeout, opportunity to give some of their stars a little bit of a breather, and then identify a point where this is where we start breaking, getting the momentum back in our favour, letting that pendulum swing our way, and having players like Hadava, like Haveltseva, sorry, my brain just temporarily escaped out of my ears. That's why the headphones are here to help hold it in. And yeah, and Christina Solicitor as well. There's a reason why they come over, and it's A, to help generate the turn, and B, once they've got the turn, you've got some familiar faces on the disc. I've just seen a certain flying penguin sit down in front of us.
A flying penguin?
Ben Zwartz is playing with Gentle for the EUCS this year. He's also been patrolling the field with his camera, and I'm sure he's taken some captured a little slice of life here at the Elite Invite.
Lots to capture. Happy there's so many lenses capturing it all, including ours here at Ulti TV. A pleasure to be partnered back up with the EUF doing the production for their events, starting with this one, Elite Invite. Pierre goes to Olivier, now Thyssen. Olivier lowers the shoulder into that mild contact, but was ready if there was more. Mathias to Delaval. Back to Mathias, a little pushy, and now Lacoste. Thyssen. Olivier. A very active mark with the kick block ready to deploy. Delaval up into traffic, but just enough room to have the hands clasped. Chloé away, Miss Olivier with another goal.
I set up the isolation to Olivier in the front of the end zone, and the force, it's so important to not give up that break side space, but it's so difficult to do because throwers now have just such a range of weapons at their disposal. And you'll have a look at it now on the replay. You show the up line, the high release gets it, and the defender, I think, recognizes there that actually Rika Kia's not doing too much. And that means that the threat's somewhere else. I can flash in here and get the block. Just recognizes it a half second too late, and by the time she closes in, Olivier has already done the damage. And this is something that I think East Block will improve as they develop as players and as a team, is that they'll maybe recognize their situations a little bit sooner, and that turns those near misses into decisive blocks. We mentioned, of course, the other semi-finals, all 4 games being streamed this round. Moon Cup Iceni, which the winner of that plays the winner of this game. That's on field 1 behind us, the single OTTV camera coverage with Lorcan Murray in remotely. Shout versus Box Vienna, that's a VO stream with Dimi Doroshenko on the call, while Jinx Jet Set is VO cam with no commentary. But of course, you'd much rather keep the audio here.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
The sweetest of sounds here, of course, that's Benjamin Reese with me, Stefan Rapazzo, as Hadova leads and gets a falling catch to keep things alive. Mashkova then goes back to Slusta, and now they're moving at their preferred pace. Can they maintain? Haveltsova. High stall count breaks up the rhythm.
They're so fluent at finding those inside seams when they need them, be it quickly, high in stall counts, so reliable at getting them off.
Slusta goes offhand to Haveltsova. Quick continuation, Svetkova tried to go, but Castillo gets in the way before Mashkova can close hands.
Just have to lead that one a little bit more out front, but when you're going with the backhand to that forehand side, it's really tricky if you don't pull the trigger early enough. Meisel pulls the trigger here.
And that one is going to land in. Goekolea with the chase on the adjusted cut, but all sorts of separation in the end zone by the time the disc got there.
She's a bit good, isn't she? Just good read, takes that angle early on, just sealed Slista out of it, and then is able to accelerate away from the disc, and Slista knows that she's got no shot. Meisel has been dealing as a thrower as well. That's her first assist, but she's been excellent with the disc, even if she's not actually thrown the scoring pass until now. Taken a good variety of shots, judged it well, and this one, just that roll curve takes it back towards the middle of the field. That is beautiful. I'm doing the Italian hands, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I see them, but I think the people back at home know what you mean. The pinch fingers, Italian hands. Nice, another look there is YAKA starting to separate just a bit. 6-4, taking what they can for advantage here in the first half of this quarterfinal. The lead invite from Leuven.
Isn't it lovely in Leuven?
Leuven is lovely. There are no two ways about it.
Big, big fan.
You and me both, Bench.
I mean, for Leuven, they're not necessarily the most experienced host for this level of tournament, but they hosted a spring invite last year, and that went so well that the EUF decided that we'd come back this year, and it's a perfect venue for a tournament like this where they've got capacity for more pitches, but 4 pitches just back to back to back to back. Everything's in nice and tight. That buzz goes around the ground. Plus, you've got the quality of competition, a huge army of Jet Set volunteers. They've done a bang-up job.
Haveltsova takes an early under and the spin around to look at the dump space. Hadova gives a crafty cut, and there's a pick upfield.
There is times when this the East Block offense looks like organized entropy. That was not one of those times. It just looked a little bit chaotic.
Haveltsova spots a cut on the far sideline and then regains possession. Leading throw, Hadova. Hands high to take. Fakes with both hands, then centers. Squishes one into the middle and hangs one high to the back corner. Haveltsova's there. And another goal to bring it back to within 1 for the Czechs.
Some scores are about the cut, some scores are about power, some are about accuracy. This one to me is about vision, because there's so much traffic in front of Kotrobova that to be able to still isolate and pinpoint that space on the far side of the field, wait for things to just clear up, the field of vision to be a little less muddied, less traffic in the way, and then you can just step out, sit it into that space, trust that Haveltsova will reel it in. Let's have another look now. from the Cam 2 angle. A lot of players there, but knows that Olivier doesn't really have a shot at it. Becker's a little bit out of position, so I can sit and blade that to the space. And Haveltsova will come down with it. East Block still in a little bit of a hole, but I feel like they're getting a little bit more of their confidence and swagger back.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right, Benz. They are not overly affected by being down a couple breaks. They are still in this. They have time to refine the bits and pieces of form they found in the last couple points. I mean, was a break against only a point ago, but they've now come and held, and yeah, they are still well within this game to take it away from the strong start YAKA's shown. But can they slow down YAKA's attack? Let's see. They've had one break. Bobby Khan will try and produce a completion to ensure that no more breaks come. Meisel to Drucker. Drucker throws high over top, though. And that one is gobbled up, and it will be taken to the front line. Janska throws towards center. And then has it held in the middle. Podachova. East Block unable to really get their short game going here on this counter attack. Podachova leads forward. Janska jacks one deep, and Bobby Khan gets in the way and breaks up the play.
And she's okay. Always, when you take a slightly awkward landing, you hope for the best. Trying to utilize the deeper option. There's not enough angle on it to take it over Babikian's head toward the break side where she wouldn't have a chance. And thus she gets her position, makes herself big, and gets the block.
Paula Bass to Kathy Meisel. Meisel crosses and goes to Rasta Aline Mondiaux. There's a very awkward catch there. Zenz. Ooh, Mondiaux just over the foot there. Drucker makes a great catch with tight defense by Janska.
Matti Drucker's done really well there.
Rasta has to go down, grabs it with the lefty, and then puts it straight away, sees Bas. Great throw by Rasta, and Bas happy to celebrate that one with a hat kick spike.
Shooter's got to shoot, Steph. Shooter's got to shoot, and I think you felt like it was coming. YAKA were having some very tight contested catches, and often the best way to prevent that is how can we make sure that they're not maybe respecting the short unders as much. They're a bit more worried. Well, let's open it up, and when you've got a player like Rasta, who, let's not beat around the bush. She loves to open it up, and you see why, because Bas goes deep, getting in the end zone again, where they can do damage, even though it's easy to think of them as more of a thrower. Mondiaux just on the hustle, slightly awkward landing. I wonder if the knee would get stuck in the soft turf here, but the force, I think, there as well is too far off. I know why, but have a look downfield there. That break side option isn't really available at the moment. Get tight, get in Rasta's face, try and apply more pressure, because if you don't, Mondiaux will just carve you up.
Make you pay, most certainly she will. And right there, she did. Beautiful throw from Mondiaux, as we come to expect. Rasta. If you haven't seen old pictures of Rasta playing,
it feels almost weird now, doesn't it, when you see them?
Yeah, I mean, you know why she's called Rasta, that's for sure.
There's a generation of players who will look at it and think, really? Rasta?
Yep. but very evident why that nickname still sticks with Aline Mondiaux. Hadova takes Slusta, and Slusta finds a bit of space for Haveltseva. Slusta again, she winds up. Will that be too far, Benj? Indeed it will be.
There was space for the down the line shot, and for a long time I thought, this is ambitious, but Hadova's got the speed to chase it down, and the disc just kept on going. It refused to hold up a little bit and back off, motored away, and YAKA can go into half if they can break. It's a full 70, but they've done it before this game. They could well do it again.
First throw is low. Matias picks it up near turf. Inside through a small seam to Thyssen, and then widening the field to Olivier. Full 360 pivot. Now Olivier goes to Thyssen and gets it right back. Give and go once again between that pair. Leading throw, Kier. Olivier trying to give options on every next throw through this sequence, and they're into the red zone. Inside, wow, what hands by Matias to catch it behind the body, cat-like reflexes.
Made it look easy, but let me assure you it is not.
And the throw for score finds Le Mercier, and YAKA take half with that break.
They've been ruthless. That's so smooth offensively, that half for YAKA. East Bloc struggling to create consistent enough defensive pressure. When they have got turns, it feels like a lot of it's been YAKA errors rather than East Bloc punishes. But if you're YAKA, you look at that and say, not only are we leading, but I think we feel like we've actually earned that advantage against a good, strong side here. You back yourself going into the second half.
As you should. YAKA looking strong. East Bloc with some answers to come up with. We'll find out how that all shapes up in the second half when we're back after these messages.
Here's what's going on in the other women's division quarterfinals right now. Iceni were leading, but Moon Cup have come back. They're 6-5 in front. Shout have a 10-7 lead on Box, and Jinx 8-6 at half on Jet Set. So every game within 3 points. Exactly what you want from a slate of quarterfinals.
Yeah, exactly what you want indeed. The tightest there being that Moon Cup Iceni, maybe the one that in the other ones, the expected team slowly getting ahead, but at half or just beyond half, a 3-point lead at most. As you said, Benji, anyone's game in all of these quarters. There's YAKA, now East Bloc. Fans at home, we hope you're loving these games. Of course, feel free to get active in the chats. Let us know what you like, who you're watching, who you're cheering for. We're here for it. We want to know.
YAKA with a huge opportunity here, because not only have they got that lead going into half, but as you can see, they're receiving to begin this half as well. So they can just extend and exacerbate the misery for East Bloc.
Isn't that handy? Bas finds Olivier to Delaunay. Delaunay goes to Bas. Bas eyes only to the end zone throughout the stall count. Now engages the dump, but the dump bails out. Now the hope throw goes up, and Matthias makes it work. I don't know if that one should have, but it did, Benj.
Just had a better read on it from the very beginning, did Matthias. And you mentioned maybe taking a while to activate the players in the reset space. Every time they did, YAKA made the same cut up the line, and it worked the first time, but Bas, when the up the line doesn't get covered, who's making the reset to come back towards the back? No one. So Bas has to put it up and hope, and that's what you should do if you're in that high stall situation. Get a bit of air underneath it. You've got playmakers downfield. See if one of them can make a play. Svetsova's just face guarding a little bit there. So by the time she turns around and sees that she's hot, Matthias has already come past her because she's located the disc much earlier. Always needs to try and get that difficult position as a defender where you've somehow got eyes both on your matchup and on the thrower, but maybe the angle there where Svetsova found herself pretty much bang in the middle. Unless you're an owl, it's almost impossible to see both.
Unless you're an owl, that head on a swivel ability you must be speaking about, Benji. Turning your head around 360 degrees, or 180 degrees.
Or maybe like a chameleon where your eyes are on the side and they can do all sorts of funny things.
Animalistic traits that would come in handy in Frisbee. Ask Benji for more examples.
Hello to everyone watching on, by the way, here.
Yeah, we can only guess on those ones. And maybe find out after the fact. Put onto those feed ears, of course, sponsoring the EUF and all the wonderful things they do, and making sure they sponsor some other exciting projects too, like that Tokai Super Team. Go check them out on Instagram to find out more.
The what?
The Tokai Super Team, Benji.
Never heard of them.
Oh, but you better. You don't follow the socials too much, so maybe that's why.
No, I'm a man who prides himself on often being hard to find.
Alex, who comes with them to many tournaments, but not all. And with Nanu recovering from a lower body injury, potentially not at full capacity, not at 100%, why not keep her on the shelf, use her as a coaching voice, and help propel this team forward with all likelihood into the semifinal, unless East Bloc can do something phenomenal in this next frame.
Yeah, Ultimate players have probably given themselves a justified bad reputation for play. They're going to say it's accepted, so it will stay here with Swan Lacoste Lefebvre.
Lacoste throws to Olivier. Middle of the field, we've got another pick called.
Yeah, even though we've now got a nice breeze, it has been hot today, yesterday, pretty much all the time we've been in Leuven, so you get a little bit more fatigued a bit more quickly, and especially as games get towards the final, well, maybe the final few points, who knows, but you do tire. Those picks do occur with a little bit more frequency.
Lacoste goes to Delaunay. Delaunay waiting, finds Lacoste again. She goes wide to the break side. Tisson hits the ground, and YAKA score again.
Caro Tisson's had a relatively quiet game, although when you've got a roster as stacked as YAKA's, that happens, and you have to accept that it's not always going to be about me. I'm just happy to be part of the system, part of the process. There are games when I will shine. There are games when my impact will be less required, will be less felt because my other teammates are stepping up, and you'd never want to actually really have to have one player bear the brunt of the load because that does wear you down. It's a grind, and being able to step into a team like YAKA where you're not necessarily going to be called on every point, but when your number does come up, are you there? Are you ready? Are you waiting? Boy, was Tisson.
She indeed was. We're going to have you waiting just a little bit too. There's been another timeout, so we're going to take a short break and be back with you from Leuven for more action at the end of this women's quarter. Get there. Yes, he will.
The lovely day.
And 14-7 the scoreline. YAKA taking things to game point here. Action happening all around the park. Seat in the semifinal of the Elite Invite available if victory can be honed and captured. East block from their own end, Hadova. Svetkova.
It always helps your defense where you can get a good pull to start things off and mean that your opponent has got a long way to march down this lush Leuven grass before they reach pay dirt.
Slusta goes the offhand. Svetkova through the middle. Haveltsova. Takes Slusta on the return trip as she 360s all around Haveltsova. This YAKA zone stingy. Mashloviakova, Slusta, and then Svetkova exchange. A chin catch there on the sideline.
It doesn't matter how you get it in there as long as it sticks.
Yeah, any part of the body to keep it off the ground. Hadova rips to Slusta and just too far in front. Slusta can't get the Jets up to that speed.
It's the right decision. It's just the wrong execution, Steph.
Yeah, you're right there. That throw needs to be thrown, but just a little less on it, a little more spin floated out for Slusta to have to be able to run under instead of have to chase. Oh, and a turnover back the other way. Slusta.
Just kept rising on Meisel.
Reisel. And that one, Haveltsova into Hadova. A score to keep this game extended.
It feels like too little too yet late for East Block, but the least they could do was get it in on offense, and then they can start getting the defense out on the field. Can we generate blocks? Can we generate errors like this? Meisel, you look at it and it's like, there's no way that I'm not going to catch this. And then it just goes up and up and up and up and up, and before you know it, it's gone, it's too late. And East Block, as they so often do, pick it up, get it moving quickly, and YAKA couldn't stop the flow at that point. That speed, that tempo, that close in. Reminder that there's all 4 women's quarterfinals available at the moment. Moon Cup versus Iceni going on the single Ulti TV camera field behind us, as well as the other women's quarterfinals, which are Shout up against
Box.
It is Shout versus Box, and it's Jinx versus Jet Set. So, as we mentioned, headphones only here to keep brain escaping from ears.
That's how it works when you get the high ultimate count that we often get on these wonderful road trip assignments. But they are trying at times, but all said, the absolute pleasure to have the opportunity to put ourselves through this, to be able to bring it all back to you.
Put ourselves all through this as if it's a trial. We work hard, but it's the best job in the world.
It is indeed, but there are some trials and tribulations that come with it, let's be frank.
I don't know why you talk about working with me like that.
And East Block step in front. Can they? Is this possible, Benjamin?
Well, this would be a good start at the very least.
Hadova for the pickup. She gets expansive, throws through, but Olivier denies. Tisson. Mabekondiasson. To Lacoste. Nice over the shoulder backhand delivery. Delaunay. Wanted Olivier, but the mark shut the door. Mabekondiasson goes to Lacoste. Le Mercier fakes the backhand. Mabekondiasson. 15 meters out, far sideline, trying to find something. Spots Olivier.
There's definite wind now, Steph.
Yeah, it is blowing, Benj. Get the kites out. De Laval goes into the middle, crossing route. Mabekondiasson, and there's a pick in the middle of the field in the end zone.
Just a couple of yards away from victory here, YAKA. All you need to do is take a breath, hold your nerve, and you can seal that semi-final spot against the winner of Moon Cup versus Iceni.
Mabekondiasson goes lateral. De Laval fakes with a backhand. Waiting for development. Looks to the handle space and gets Mabekondiasson playing like an absolute veteran out there. Throws the assist to win the game. Le Mercier catches the goal bench, and this one is all over. YAKA going to the semifinals.
They were excellent for it as well. From start to finish, there was a degree of precision, and their offense had a clinical edge that sometimes it lacks. East Block, just some silly cheap errors early, some overthrows, some drops, and they didn't quite iron them out. They continued, but especially against a team of quality of the YAKA, what you can't let them do is escape out of your viewpoint. You've got to keep it close and you've got to keep it tight, but YAKA were able to punish those early errors in a way that they're not necessarily always able to do. And a real sucker punch, really, for an East Block side that came here with real hopes of going deep this tournament. YAKA have put an emphatic stop to it.
Yeah, real hopes, and then those hopes given wind in their sails with their opening game win, and then just a little bit of disappointment from there. The game against Moon Cup, they were all but figured out. YAKA surely took some of that research into this game with them and put their best foot forward to put East Block down a notch again, so they'll have some digging to do to bring themselves back up. They'll be playing for 5th now. YAKA playing for a championship. Women's semifinals nearly set. Keep your finger on the pulse. Best way to do that, stay locked on here with the EUF. Get all their action, some coming from us at Ulti TV, some through the VOs, but all of the action available. Short of the next 2 games on the Ulti TV fields, those ones will not be going to stream, and the rest of the weekend will be delivering action non-stop, Benji.
We will indeed. So you know what to do. Keep it here, keep it locked. And yeah, open quarterfinals next, mixed quarterfinals after that, and then women's and open semi-finals to enter the day. So much ultimate steer to come.
Wonderful ride with Benji Reese. I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.